in Georgia, USA, in a swamp, submerged, and buried in a bog beneath the forest. Is another forest having existed long ago, and for a long time, and has been apocalyptically annihilated. All that remains are subfossil wood stumps, trunks and branches of an ancient cypress forest. Here is buried in alluvial deposits, submerged in groundwater, where all that is left of the once mighty trees are the splintered remains of in situ of ancient tree stumps, are still firmly rooted with their broken trunks and branches laying thoroughly strewn about in all directions. The ancient cypress subfossil wood forest that appear knocked over, broken, cut up, chopped, sliced, splintered, sanded, scalded, burnt or otherwise, or some very strong environmental force has thoroughly killed all the trees levelled the ancient forest, then buried the splintered remains only a few feet below the modern wetland forest. This newly discovered ancient subfossil wood forest may be part of the underwater forest of ancient cypress that was discovered 60 feet deep in the Gulf of Mexico, and could be some of the same ancient bald cypress subfossil forest as was discovered at the PD site buried 40 feet below the modern land surface at the sand quarry on the Little PD River, Marion County, South Carolina. Radiocarbon dates from a few subfossil cypress logs found in the Little PD quarries suggest that these deposits may be up to 45,000 years old. Subfossil wood refers to preserved wood from ancient trees that have not fully fossilized, almost a hard mineral fossil, yet still easily cuttable, millable, and carvable. Subfossil wood found is solid with very strong cellulose structure, with little noticeable indications of petrification. Ancient subfossil wood is beautiful, strong, solid, and well preserved. Subfossil wood can still be sawn, milled, drilled, planed, polished, carved, sculpted, and otherwise carpentry worked just like ordinary wood. Ancient subfossil wood slices allow light to pass through the wood, a glass-like translucent amber glow. So what caused the cataclysmic destruction of this ancient American forest? Perhaps the ancient forest was obliterated by a prehistoric catastrophic or otherwise apocalyptic event. Pine trees rarely grow in wetlands, suggesting the site was once higher ground. It appears that the ancient pine was astonishingly split down the middle, vertically quickly buried in 6 feet of white sand saturated in groundwater. What are the clues as to the demise of the ancient forest? Perhaps the forest ground geologically sank lower from the sheer weight of this once magnificent ancient woodland. Maybe the groundwater quickly rose, suffocating the root systems. Or a great flood may have covered the ancient forest floor with a thick layer of alluvial deposits, thus suffocating the root systems, killing the trees and preserving low sections and stumps within. Carolina Bay formation theories range from water currents, wind patterns, sinkholes, to prehistoric meteors and ancient giant beavers. Carolina bays are shallow, elliptical depressions in the earth found throughout the Atlantic coastal plain. The ice meteor hypothesis hypothesizes that the formation of Carolina bays may have been an extraterrestrial event, meteors or comets exploding over or colliding into the Earth over 12,000 years ago. Theory suggests that an ancient cosmic impact and a megafauna extinction event known as the Younger Dryas extinction are related to Carolina bays. Catastrophic storm winds and flying debris generated from a comet colliding with the Earth near the Great Lakes region. The powerful impact could have jettisoned massive chunks of ice into the atmosphere, then landed back on Earth. The apocalyptic impact caused the numerous elliptical depressions along the southeast that are referred to as Carolina bays. Previously unearthed in the ancient swamp is a 5,000-pound stump along with other preserved remains of a colossal old-growth pine tree. As so it appears, the pine had been completely split down the middle vertically. Yes, I said vertically, as if a log split for firewood. The other half of the split stump and tree was gone. A window was cut into the huge stump, and several slabs sawn off to count the tree rings, and it was put up to dry out of sight, out of mind. We shall call it Ancient Swamp Subfossil Wood Stump No. 1. Recently raised from the ancient bog is another extremely heavy stump, along with other preserved remains of a colossal old-growth pine tree, which curiously resembled the first. As in the first case, this pine had been completely split down the middle vertically. Yes, I said vertically, as a banana is peeled. The other section of the split stump was gone too. We shall call it Ancient Swamp Subfossil Wood Stump Number 2. In an attempt to reconstruct the crime scene, the ancient bog was dragged for more clues, or for more tree sections of both stumps. Long it did not take to gather wood piles of ancient subfossil, wood as potential pieces of an ancient puzzle or clues and evidence, as the complete and utter massacre of an entire prehistoric forest. Ancient swamp subfossil wood stump number 1 measured at about 10 feet diameter with 20-foot circumference. The dimensions of ancient swamp subfossil wood stump number 2 were similar yet different. The National Register of Big Trees lists a record ponderosa pine that is 27 feet, 8.2 meters, in circumference. After putting back together, the ancient swamp subfossil wood stump had a circumference of about 30 feet. I could be wrong, or I could be right, however. I think this is a record of some sort. Research and sampling of ancient subfossil logs buried in alluvial deposits beneath forested wetlands has typically been limited due to difficulties in locating and accessing. Therefore, this recovery of ancient subfossil wood in Georgia, USA, has significant scientific significance. This discovery and what is about to be discovered here may further the dendrochronology research, sampling and analysis of the Pleistocene paleoclimate on the Atlantic coastal plain. Unlike the underwater forest site in the Gulf of Mexico at 60 feet deep, and the South Carolina Great Pee River site at 50 foot below land surface, at this new site in Georgia ancient cypress subfossil wood can be studied by use of a small hand shovel or post-hole diggers at only 2 feet below modern ground surface. Ancient subfossil wood tree rings, with their irregular pattern, may suggest an extraterrestrial impact or some other cataclysmic world event that leveled much of the world's old-growth forests and brought about rapid extreme global cooling, forming continental glaciers and drastically lowering sea levels. Subfossil wood has hundreds of growth rings and may be used in millennia-long tree ring chronologies. For sure there is much more to discover, as the site is due proper archaeological excavation. Of scientific importance, these herein specimens are preserved and available for further analysis. Quote, here in the cliffs we see vast stumps of cypress and other trees. These stumps are sound, stand upright, and seem to be rotted off about 2 or 3 feet above the spread of their roots. Their trunks, limbs, and lie in all directions about them. Wrote William Bartram, botanist explorer, on a similar buried subfossil forest exposed on a bank on the Mississippi River in 1777.
Of ancient pine subfossil wood come off of this. I don't know if you can see it. Let's show it to you. Okay, you see that first stump right here, the one that's sawed off, that's where this slab comes from. Okay, I found it first. Found it almost a year ago. And it's cool, it's huge. It's 10 foot diameter, 20 foot circumference, and it weighs a lot of tons. I had hell getting it out of the bog with the backhoe. And so recently, that one behind it, I found it about 30 feet from that one, where that one was. And as you can see, it's pointed. And the first one was just like that when I found it, pointed. And I wanted to show you the tree rings on it. They're beautiful and they're quite interesting. And I'm gonna put this Well, as you can see, I'm trying to put this tree back together because it was split in two, right down the middle, diagonally, which is quite amazing. It's like a lightning bolt from hell, or whatever catastrophic event did that to this huge ancient tree. It's totally amazing to me. So I'm trying to put it back together and see all these slabs around here. They actually go on that. I'm checking to see if it's a match, man, because I do believe these two halves. You see, let me show you this. Let's look at the slab for a minute. All right, 10, 20, 30. I counted up to 150 tree rings before I got to here, which, as you can see, if you can't, I'll show it to you up close. Check it out. The tree rings just end. Matter of fact, the whole tree ends in half. You get my drift? We're counting, and I can't count no more because the center, not only is the center is missing, but both sides. This should be twice its size. This is only half of the real deal here. Something happened. See? I mean, this is the live edge, but something happened here. Something happened here. I mean, unless somebody could correct me, half the tree is gone. So that would be this tree. Sorry, I'm on a easel here. And okay, this is what it come off of. There you see.
The site may have been a prehistoric and even historic Indian camp or tribal village or trading post. Along with other prehistoric bog plant debris, discovered are ancient Indian wooden artifacts, plus stone tools, pottery, fossils and bones. Wooden spearheads, lithic spokeshoves, knives, choppers, blades, flakes, cores, end scrapers, and other Indian implements of necessity. Stone spokeshoves have been found with the wooden spear points, all of which will be in another video. Stay tuned.